And in California today, in the valley, where all the rich people live and all that stuff, where the tech, people that, like Apple and develop all these, electronic devices and all that stuff. Silicon Valley area. The huge fire today, big time. And thank God for the helicopters that could drop water on it. The fire department, I did put a link today on it on Facebook. Of what was going on. These people, trying to save their probably $20 million homes from burning up, shooting with a garden hose on this fire because the fire just builds up intense heat and just goes, whoof, right through all that sagebrush.
Yeah, my goodness, because it's pretty dry in some of those areas, and when it goes, it really goes, as we can tell from past history. When I see stories like that, I always wonder, was it intentionally set to in the long run to maybe raise prices of trading the stuff in the Silicon Valley or who knows? But I got to tell you, that's a dangerous scenario for those people living there, for sure.
Well, they could have lost their homes, a lot of them. In fact, some of the homes actually started catching on fire. But the helicopters, they're really good at what they do, dumping water. So they would come. And, as soon as they started seeing the houses starting to burn, they dropped water on it to put it out. So, that thing went on for a good hour and a half today. That I put a link up on Facebook. So if you guys want to go check that out, just check Gary Anderson out on Facebook and you can see what it was like. It was horrible. Anyway, you said you had some cryptic reports of whatever. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll tell you, from within the last month, I got to tell you, the state of Illinois and part of Wisconsin, a little bit of Michigan, they've been getting a lot of reports of cryptids from Mothman to upright canines and whatever. But a possible Chicago Mothman recently was observed in Rosemont, Illinois. Now, here's how the report came in. The guy said, I was sitting in the car waiting my next Uber, and I was parked on the side of the road near Tool Booth Plaza 31. Now, it's a spot where there many drivers share, and, people come by and whatnot. And it's close to the airport, I guess.
Oh, you just said it.
Uh-oh.
What was that word? What not?
Oh.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Now, hang on. Give me a second here, okay? My agent today said I say my two words all the time, and I have to correct myself. What not? Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. You got one X. I have none right now. So you're X. It's almost like tic-tac-toe. Okay, go ahead.
It's a game I don't want to win. But anyway, as they were sitting there, this thing opened a pair of large wings as wide as it was tall and began to flap them. It took off and headed to the south toward that large indoor, like a baseball park, and it was gone in a few seconds. Now, that was one quick report there in the Rosemont area. Now, the thing about the Rosemont area, that's not the only sighting that's been reported around there. There was another one also, and this one was a humanoid, a winged humanoid. And again, winged humanoid, Mothman, they all kind of fit the same scenario. But this one, it was also reported to MUFON. And again, it was in the Rosemont area, and it's going on with the same kind of scenario, wings flapping. It was briefly seen it. It took off, scared the people really bad. They didn't know what to think about it, kind of traumatized. And again, that was in the Rosemont area. I don't know what's going on in that area, but there's definitely something going on there. Have you ever witnessed anything like this, Gary?
No, not yet.
I don't know if I ever want to, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't, not unless I got some holy water.
I don't know if that would even work for something.
Well, yeah, it would work, because I would have my bottle of holy water, and I'd have my bottle of vermouth, and I'd mix the two together.
Okay, you have a secret weapon there.
Yes.
Now, also, there was an upright canine observed in Pentwater, Michigan. This one here, the guy was driving along. He thought he noticed an animal on the side of the road, maybe a big wolf or a coyote or something. Didn't think much of it. As he passed by, he looked in the rearview mirror, and it stood up on two legs and walked across the road. And his description of it was it looked like a classic right out of the movies werewolf with its hands kind of like sticking out, front of him like a werewolf would walked across the road. Anyway, when he seen that, he kind of sped up and took off. But can you imagine seeing a werewolf in the rearview mirror? That would be enough to make you hit the gas pedal.
I would make me like burn rubber and get away. But I will say this: in Illinois, there's a road called Bloods Point Road, and it's been reported since 1887 of having ghosts on it.
Oh, I wonder if that's near the old cemetery that's always got the reports with somebody ghost on the road and stuff. I can't think what it's called. It's got a famous name, but it's along them lines where, the trucker picks up the hitchhiker, but in this case, it's not truckers, usually just passerbys or something, pick up a lady walking on the road, and they take her somewhere. Next thing you know, she's either missing or they drop her off somewhere and she disappears. That would be scary. It
would be, and then Pennsylvania has mystery cats, huge black cats that kind of look like, like those big black cats in Africa. I don't know. These things are fierce, and they come down on people's, property, and then they disappear.
Oh, one of those. I know last month we had a lot of reports of large black cats in, I think it was Paris and England. So I don't know. There's been a lot of reports of those. I've seen a lot of reports of those in Kentucky and Tennessee as well.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. And then in Oregon, and it's been reported since 1904, a vortex on Gold Hill.
Oh, wow. A lot of those places like that, there's that place in Oregon's got that, that might even be the same place, I don't know, but, where you're inside the building and it's crooked and brooms stand up like at an angle and stuff, and balls roll uphill and things. But really, those places are like an optical illusion. If you took a survey of that and took a level out there, what it is, it's hill going downhill, but it looks like it's going uphill. So it's like all an optical illusion.
It's possibly. And then, do you know that there's been a lot of reports in South Carolina of lizard man?
Oh, yeah, that's been, them reports have been coming in since the 70s when that sheriff there, when the kid changes his tire and one of them approached him and scared him really bad and he reported it. And then, there's been people that's, again, with vehicles tore up, reported by this lizard man. Another guy saw one from a little biplane. So there's been a lot of reports there for past 30, 40 years.
Oh, yeah. It says it's been going on. The first report was in 1988.
Oh, 30 years then. Okay, yeah.
That's a long time.
It has been a long time. So there's got to be something going on there because there has been a lot of consistent reports throughout the years in that area, which makes me think there's got to be something there.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of reports of, shadow people all over the country. It's been more of an upswing on reports of shadow people, appearing not just in your rooms, but appearing in all kinds of places.
I will say this about the shadow people. For the last 30-plus years, probably almost 40 years, I have seen more shadow people than any other thing I've ever seen. I have seen them. I've been driving at night and seen them walk across the road in front of me. I've seen more out on in the woods or on roads and stuff than in houses, which is scary. I don't know if it's past spirits that have, passed away on the land, because you never know what happened on some of the land hundreds of years ago.
Well, I'm just wondering if they even know that they're dead, or what is a shadow? Their spirit, or what is it? Is it, do you know anything more about it? What can a shadow person be?
Well, I will say this much: in my world and my almost 40 years of paranormal, I've come across three types of shadow people. One of them is human spirits. The other one is what I would call interdimensional beings. And the other one is just plain rotten, real evil incarnate. And, again, you touched on a good point. Maybe these spirits don't know they've passed. Maybe they've died very traumatically and don't even know it. Or maybe for a whole plethora of reasons, they didn't cross over whatever, and they're still attached to the land, earthbound spirits and whatever. But that's what I've come across in my world, the three different kinds.
Yeah. Could you imagine, though, being like a little kid and seeing a shadow person going against the walls all the way around your room, and then you pull the blanket over your head to protect yourself, and all of a sudden the shadow person yanks a blanket off and says, "I got you."
I gotta say, if you don't have a heart attack, you definitely may have to freshen yourself up after that one. Jeez, that would be scary. Yeah, I have seen a lot of shadow people. I got to tell you something. The last one I saw was June 10th in a family's bedroom. It actually growled at me. It was very got my attention. I'll say that much.
I've never heard of a shadow person making noise. So what type of growl did it make?
It was, I can't, it was 20 seconds long. It was very guttural, like, I can't even do it. It was just amazing. And why it was doing this in the corner looking at me, there was a REM pod there, and it just about blew up. I mean, it was just going crazy. I never seen one go like it did. And this thing was mad because we was getting it out of the people's house, and it did not want to leave. It was very upset.
Interesting.
To say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, I myself, I don't get into ghost hunting or going to people's houses and trying to cleanse the spirits out of there because I would be too scared. I might get them out of their house, but then when I go home, then I'm not watching, the Andy Griffin show late at night or Hooterville. What do you call that? Green Acres. And then have something pull me underneath the bed. I couldn't live with myself.
I tell you, it makes you think twice before you hang your leg off the bed at night. That's for sure. I do have to after this show, because sometimes I get myself wound up, doing the show, when we're talking about aliens and abductions like that. So then I lay in bed and I go, oh man, I might be abducted tonight. So I watch Green Acres, something good to, cleanse my mind and not think about being abducted or, aliens or, something underneath my bed, grabbing me. I don't blame you. I tell you, my heart goes out to all the guests we've had on and all the other people we don't even know that, they've been abducted. Think of the horrors. And people don't realize these people got to go to bed every night. And the horror, just thinking like you just touched on, is this a night they're going to come get me and bring me through my walls and do jiggy stuff with me and send me back? I mean, it's just, that's scary.
Well, you imagine even some of the guests, that I've had repeated, and I'm not mentioning names here, but I've had some on, the first couple times, they really didn't know me that well, and I didn't know them that well. And they would tell me things like, oh, I was never really worried about being abducted a second or third or fourth or 20th time. And then all of a sudden you find out from them they actually were worried each time they would go to bed, wondering if they were going to be abducted again. But they don't want to tell somebody, over the air or to somebody they really don't know everything. So a lot of these poor guys are or gals holding this stuff back. Could you imagine the stress they're under?
Oh, my goodness, the post-traumatic stress and the anxiety of it, of just daily and nightly, of going to bed wondering in your brain, is this going to be one of the nights? Because here's the thing, if you're abducted against your will and you're taking on a craft somewhere and they're doing all kind of funky stuff to you, that's going to mess with you big time, and no matter who you are. So, yeah, you're going to have that weighing on you a lot, not just at night when you go to bed, but I would think through the day there would be certain things that would trigger these thoughts or memories, and it'd be horrific.
Well, thank God I haven't had those type of memories, but I tell you what, I got a funny feeling like we've talked about numerous times on the show. A lot more people have been abducted than we know about because they're scared. Let's face it. Let's say you've been abducted a few times, right? And taken aboard a UFO and examined and had their fingers stuck down your throat, or maybe their whole arm stuck down your throat, to pull out your intestines. I don't know. But the whole thing is, you're not going to go around telling people, because if you did, you know what you risk. You risk the people looking at you like, oh, this guy needs help.
Right. You risk ridicule, maybe loss of a job or God knows what else. And it's sad. And I bet the truth being known, the total numbers of people that have come forward is probably just the same amount that haven't come forward that we don't even know about. And there's so much going on that we don't know about, and it's all it's just wrong, because daggone well, if we did what they did, we'd be in jail for life.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe if you don't work for, for a living, and you just didn't care about anything, maybe jail wouldn't be so bad for life. But I tell you, when you think about it, the thoughts of what